Hey everybody, it's Murgle, and today in this one we're going to be covering some of the main topics from the recent Q&A, basically just some of the key things that we'll be going over into Battle for Azeroth. Anyways, let's just get into it. So, first things first, global cooldown. Been a topic since Blizz basically confirmed that a large majority of spells and abilities would be reintroduced to the global cooldown. Now obviously this will have a pretty major impact on how a lot of classes are going to be played. Anyways, the arguments presented as to why they are choosing to do this is because it's believed the way classes are played is the major flaw. What was said is that your entire spec shouldn't come down to you lining up all of your cooldowns just for small intervals of massive DPS to make your overall DPS seem much higher. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to have the specs themselves do more damage and have the cooldowns give a much more minimal impact to the DPS line, and then you have a more even line of how the DPS is being distributed. The main reason being is some specs rely so heavily on their cooldowns being lined up to even do halfway decent that when they don't get to use them in one big explosion, they end up looking like chumps on the DPS meters. Another thing that was stated is that the global cooldown returning causes you to think during any situation. You'll have to make a choice, and the scenario that was presented by them was you're a resto druid, taking some damage from a boss mechanic such as fire that got put under your feet. So you've got this fire under your feet. So now you can choose to use a big heal, like regrowth, to save the almost dead tank while you're standing in the fire. Mind you, you're very low HP yourself. Or you can choose to move and cast an ability like rejuvenation. And rejuvenation is instant, but it heals over time, so might not have that big of an impact on healing the tank. Or finally, you can do and instantly leap out of the fire with an ability like Wild Charge, and then stand there while you wait for the global cooldown to tick, so you can actually cast a heal on the now dying tank. Almost dead. Maybe he will die in the short period of time. So now you have to make smarter decisions while you're playing. You can't just slap everything and all the cooldowns go off at once. However, in my opinion, this style of gameplay also limits you, especially when things aren't on precise timers from a boss, for example. If you know the ability is a 1-second cast by the boss, and you have to pop a cooldown before it goes off, the global cooldown might prevent you from doing that. And if the ability is randomly set to go off between 5 to 10 seconds, you might literally be standing there pressing nothing because you have to press your cooldown on this exact time or you're going to end up dead. So global cooldown in a way restricts gameplay in situations like this. I'm not really bothered because before everything was on the global cooldown anyways. I guess we're just going to have to see where it goes. I know a lot of people have become accustomed to it and global cooldown being taken off, and now they're just bringing it back. I don't know. We'll have to see. Anyways, next big thing, respecing the Azerite armor. It's going to work much like talents did before, when you would go respec all your talents and change them all around, and it cost you gold, and each time you did it, the cost kept growing and growing and growing. Well, that's exactly how Azerite armor is going to work. You're going to be allowed to respec it, you pay gold, that's it. However, at the point we are in WoW now, where basically everything just coughs up thousands and thousands of gold, then I can imagine these armor pieces will be meant as a huge gold sink, if that's their intention, because if they're having you respec with gold, they intend for it to be a gold sink. And I could easily see the price starting at like 100, maybe even 1,000 gold. I don't think it would start at 1,000, but you never know. 100 at least, and I bet it could gradually climb up to 1,000 gold very quickly. At the very least, it might be best for you to just get 2 pieces of the same Azerite armor, if you can do that. Because respecking is going to cost you a hefty amount, I can imagine. Just be prepared for that. definitely get as many pieces as you can and try and separate the talents as you choose. A main spec piece and an off spec piece. That way you're not coughing up all your gold to pay for it. Now, as for the talents themselves. So for the raid talents, they said that a single piece of Azerite is going to be weaker than a Legion Legendary. So your headpiece, for example, isn't going to be as powerful as just one Legendary in Legion. But they might have identical traits. And to top it off, they could all have your best trait. So just think of your best Legion Legendary. Because they said it's possible that Legion Legendary's abilities are going to be put on raid tier Azerite armor. So just think of your best Legion Legendary right now. Then imagine putting on 3 legendaries which had the exact same effect as that legendary. Okay? That sounds like a massive balancing issue to me, honestly. But hey, I'm just crazy and negative. So, if I say anything criticizing this, I hate WoW. But still, I hold firm to my belief that because of how this armor is set up, you're either going to have specs that aren't competitive at all until they get this piece of Azerite armor, and then at the same time, you're going to have traits that are so OP, it will be better to wear previous raid gear than just to maintain those traits, unless they put the same traits on all Azerite armor, which then doesn't really give you much variation. So I can only imagine they'll have to like nerf previous tiers heavily. Balancing issues. We already did this throughout Legion. It's not really a surprise because you saw many people stacking previous tiers just to get the set effects. And yeah, it's going to be crazy. I can't wait to see what these Azerite armors really offer, but this is what I was saying before, and everybody told me I was just a nutcase, so I'm really excited to see where it goes. I'm not mad or anything. I just want to see where it goes and see what happens, because it sounds massively hard to balance. But hey, let's go with it. Now, the final thing, right? High Elves, despite being being told previously that they are a very different culture from their Blood Elf brethren, we're being told now that if you're a High Elf, you're a Blood Elf. So the Horde is right there waiting for you. That's what Ian said exactly. The Horde is right there waiting for you. Pick a Blood Elf. So I saw a meme post on Reddit that made me laugh a lot. It said if you wanted to be a High Elf, just pick a Blood Elf DK because they have blue eyes anyways. Oh, it was cracking me up. So basically, if you've been waiting for High Elves up till this point, you just shouldn't wait anymore. They're done. He's pretty much said it's not gonna happen. We don't need any High Elves. And we get Void Elves. So there you go. Be satisfied with our purple-haired elves. And another big thing, right? The last real thing is if you're a Horde player and you think your faction is evil, the answer is don't worry. Evil is subjective. There's a lot more story to tell. Alliance are bad too. Which, yeah, I guess the Alliance are evil. Sometimes, occasionally, we just never hear about it. They do definitely talk about all the bad things that Horde do, but yeah, the few occasional ones that Alliance do, they get kind of never mentioned. So I guess evil is subjective, right? That's what Ian's saying, so must be true. I'm really excited for the story. I want to see the story where this goes because it's funny. Anyways, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. Some crazy stuff, huh? Global cooldown, massive changes to all classes. It's quite the expansion coming up. Alright, I'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.